evening. Well, I tell you what, without further ado, let's get straight into it. This was the beginning of the interview when I talked to him about US politics and the election coming up on November the 5th. Well, we're back at Mar-a-Lago with Donald J. Trump, and first things first, the most important thing, thank you for allowing GB News to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Delighted to be here. Now, how interesting. It's a rematch, 5th of November 2024. It's Trump v. Biden again. How are you feeling about this campaign? What do you think your prospects realistically are?
So in 2016, we did great. In 2020, we did much better than 2016. Got millions and millions of votes more, and very bad things happened. Very, very bad things happened, and we're not going to let that happen again. But the COVID came in, and they used COVID for reasons other than COVID, and it was a disgrace, frankly, and that's what happened to our country. You look at the borders, you look at everything. Everything is bad with our country right now. It's gone so bad under this guy, the worst president in history. And we're going to do, I think, very well. The polls have us leading by a lot. And there was a lot of cheating going on, and we're going to get that cheating stopped, to work on that. I say to my people, don't worry about the votes. We got plenty of votes. You just make sure during that period, it used to be 1 day, now it's 40 days and 45 days and 48 days.
This is the mass mail-out ballots, yeah?
The ballots are a disaster. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, anytime you have mail-out or mail-in, they call them different names, anytime the mail is involved, you're going to have cheating. You're going to have cheating.
So have
it's too bad people don't say it. They don't want to say it. But we are going to have, I think, a very good election. The way you win the election is, and you have to do this. I saw on a show the other day, they said, well, you have to allow a certain amount for cheating. I said, since when do you have to allow a certain amount for cheating on the other side? But you swamp them. You swamp them, and we win big. And all we do is we focus on that. And that's a bad lot. That's a bad, sick lot of people. They've destroyed our country. Look, they've allowed 15 million probably, that's the number, 15 million people. 15 million people, that's my opinion. Some people say it's a little bit less. What difference? It's bigger than most states. 15 million people to come in from prisons. They come from prisons, many of them. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums like Silence of the Lamb, Hannibal Lecter, I wonder if he's one of them. They're terrorists coming into our country, totally unchecked. We have no idea. They either hate our country or they're very stupid.
I mean, 2016, build a wall, that was one of the great slogans of that campaign. You built some of it.
I built most of it.
Not all of it, most of it.
Yeah.
Trump too. What does Trump term to do about the millions that have come and the millions, including thousands of Chinese, which I find quite extraordinary.
We're equal opportunity. We take from everybody. But Biden has no idea where they're coming from. We had the safest border in history 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, the safest border. I built 571 miles of wall, which is more than I said I was going to build, by the way. And then I was going to add another 200 miles. And this is despite opposition from some Republicans and all Democrats. And the wall made a big difference, but Mexico also contributed very greatly because they gave us free of charge tremendous numbers of, I would say, 28,000 soldiers, free of charge. And we had the best border we've ever had. Now we have the worst border in the history of the country.
How do you get it back? What are you going to do to stop this?
Very much like I did the first time. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to close up the borders. We're going to come in. You can come into the country, but you have to come in legally. Don't forget, I had policies that nobody ever even thought of. Remain in Mexico. How about that? You had to remain in Mexico. We would not accept you in our country unless you were approved to come through. And we had tough borders. You know, Biden likes going to the beach. You could see that. He's always in a bathing suit. It doesn't look good, but he thinks it does, and some advisor does. He could have gone to the beach if he would have left my policies in order, having to do with the economy, having to do with everything. If they would have left what we had, you wouldn't have had inflation. You would have been energy independent. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. And now we get oil from Venezuela. It's not even believable. Do you know the crime in Venezuela is down 67%? You know why? Because they put all their criminals in our country. They put their gang members, their gang leaders, they moved them to America. And
well, it's not just people, though. It's fentanyl coming in.
Well,
making
it's
your cities
fentanyl, and it's human trafficking at levels that we've never seen before. We had it down to one of the lowest levels ever. It's a horrible thing. The human trafficking, mostly in women, Horrible thing. You think of it as an ancient kind of a crime. It's not. And what's made it so big is the internet, believe it or not. I said, why would this be more than ever before? It's the internet. But they're coming in now. The human trafficking is, the traffickers are at levels that we've never seen before. It's unbelievable what's going on.
Can you deport people who come across the border
Yeah,
illegally?
you'll deport them. I'm going to deport them.
You are?
Yeah, sure, I'm going to deport them. They're here legally, especially these criminals. We're going to get them out right away. We have millions of criminals in our country that are up for murder and drug dealers and everything else. We have, what's happened to our country is not even to be believed. These people they're destroying our country. Maybe, and some people would say they've destroyed it. Look at the crime in the cities. We have a new crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime because he's allowed this to happen. New York City has 500,000 migrants. Kids can't play Little League anymore. People can't move around the city anymore. People are being mugged. Policemen are having fistfights in the middle of a street. Where did you ever see that? They're having fistfights. Now, in their country, they'd be shot immediately. In this country, they're politically correct, okay? But we're going to do things to help our law enforcement. We're going to get them immunity so they can't get arrested and charged and destroyed, lose their house.
So tougher policing.
Yeah, if they stop crime, they're going to be able to stop crime.
We learned in 2020 that the big social media giants, there were things they did not want the American people to discuss. The laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop being a very good example of that. Your speech in Ohio the other day, talking in that state that's been associated with car making for over 100 years, and just flicking through American press particularly, Trump says there'll be a bloodbath if he doesn't win the election. What is happening with, I mean, clearly you were talking about an economic bloodbath in terms of the car manufacturing industry and what China was doing, setting up in Mexico, and yet this is what's being pushed, picked up by left-wing media sources all over the world. It's quite interesting.
Well, it happens all the time. So bloodbath, talking about it's going to be a bloodbath in the auto industry because we're going to lose our whole industry because this guy's going to all electric cars and they're made in China. That's where the material is. That's where the minerals are. That's where everything is. They're going to all be made in China and they want to go all electric cars. One of the dumbest, they don't go far, they cost too much, et cetera, et cetera. And if you want electric, you can get electric, but you've got to have other forms of propulsion. And we're going to have that. We're going to have gasoline. We have more gasoline than any country in the world, meaning oil and gas. And we have it, and they don't want us to use it. You figure that one out. So the electric mandate's going to destroy the auto industry. And I said, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a terrible bloodbath for the auto industry. They're being led right down there. They have a leader that would only go Democrat, I guess, because I'm going to create, I guarantee you that the people within that industry, or all the workers, are with me, because the United Auto Workers, it's going to be put out of business. That's
really interesting, because it is part of the shift. And I noticed the way that bloodbath's been used. It's no surprise that GBN America, many British titles are doing well in America. I get a feeling American people increasingly don't trust American media titles.
Well, they don't trust, but you know, when you use the word bloodbath, I did a little Truth the other day. Truth is on fire. It's doing great. And I put it out this morning, I guess it was put out, and it talks about the word bloodbath, and all of the people that are complaining about it, they all used it. It's a commonly used phrase when you're getting slaughtered economically, when you're getting slaughtered socially, when you're getting slaughtered, and they use it all the time. And we have many examples, and we put out all those examples, but that doesn't stop it.
Some incredible polling from the black community, more than double the numbers of the black community supporting you this time to just 4 years ago. The Hispanic community, I mean, the change that is going on there. What is it that's attracting those traditionally Democrat-type voters to you? What's happening here? What's the issue?
Different communities. So with the black community, I'm getting tremendous polling. Nobody's ever seen it like for a Republican. I did criminal justice reform. They know it. I did opportunity. Look, I gave them opportunities that nobody's ever given. The opportunity zones and all of the other work that I've done with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina, and a great guy, by the way. He ran, and I say he promotes me better than he promoted himself. He's unbelievable. He goes and he said, I don't like talking about myself. I said, that's actually a nice trait.
Was that his audition to be the VP?
Yeah, well, he's one of the many people that people talk about, and he's certainly a very capable guy, but he's been He's been incredible, but we did opportunity zones. But think of it, criminal justice reform, opportunity zones, and I funded the black colleges and universities. And nobody did that. For years and years, they didn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. And I did it. I got it funded for a long time. For 3 years, the heads of these universities, I'd have, on average, probably 45, 50 people come every year. I said, why do you keep coming? Why? They said, because one of them said to me, rough, he said, they make us like we're like the old days, like from 150 years ago. And you know it, he said, they make us feel like beggars. And I said, why? He said, they make us come back every year. I said, we're going to take care of you long term. And I took care of them long term. I said, the only bad thing, I got them a lot of money, got them more money than they asked for the colleges, and they perform a very important function, and they do a great job. And so I took care of them, Nigel, and I said, the only bad thing is I've gotten to like you guys, and I'll never see you again. I probably will never see them again, but they don't have to come to Washington every year. Black people saw that. Hispanics, very entrepreneurial people. Yeah. They like me, I like them. I mean, I'm leading all along Texas and the Texas.
And kind of family values as well, perhaps quite important.
I think there's family values.
Christianity quite important in that community?
I think so. All of the things, look, we're doing so well. Nobody's ever done well with the Hispanics like I've done, with the black community. The whole thing has been amazing. Asian community. We're doing well with women, it just came out, because women want security. They want to have security. Other countries are laughing at us. We have Iran building a nuclear weapon. That would have never happened with me.